ChapterThat. Hi, welcome to Chapters by ChapterThat, a series where we interview all kinds of people from all walks of life. Today, I'm interviewing a really good friend of mine. He's called Dwayne Lau, and he's an actor in the theatre industry. He's recently made a series of parodies on COVID-19, and some of them have gone pretty viral. But we're also going to talk to him about who he is and how his experience has been working in the acting industry already professionally for 12 years. He's the most professional, fun person I know, and also really cheeky. So we're gonna zoom in to Dwayne Lau.
Hey! Hello!
Hi, Dwayne! I'd also like to know, I'm wearing your Nudles. See, Dwayne also creates these little necklace, they call it Nudles by Dwayne. So we'll put a little link in our description if you want to get one. Get one, just get one.
Thank you.
Hi, Dwayne. You know, my experience of you is that you're just like this bubble of life. Whenever you come onto a set, you're always kind, you're always caring. Don't worry, I'm not doing this to pull any favors now that you're a viral YouTube star.
One video viral.
It's one phase at a time. You don't know where the second phase will lead to. So first, I mean, I know so much about you, but can you tell our viewers a little bit about yourself, how you got into acting, what your passions are besides bananas?
Hi, my name is Dwayne, and I've been in the industry for since I graduated, for about 12 years. So I do musical theatre, I act, I write, I direct, I also coach drama in schools, I make necklaces. And
okay, let's talk about COVID-19. So I get it. Like, Dwayne is a lot. You're a musical theater actor, which is different from being an actor, but you're also an actor, you're an entrepreneur, and you're a writer, and you're a director, and you create your own shows. And now you're kind of creating your own content for the internet. It's a different switch, isn't it? Tell us a little bit about what that has been like for you.
It's a whole new ball game altogether. I think when the shows were cancelled, that kind of left me stumped for a while, because I'm like, I can't do anything, I can't perform, and what do I do next? I can write a script, but who's going to perform it and who will perform it to? And then I thought, okay, just online. Everything was starting to go online. Everybody's going, oh, you have to digitalize and all that. I mean, it's a completely new medium, but it's still me doing my own thing. I was still doing a monologue and telling a story, with the audience just not being live. That's the only difference, I guess. Things were going on. I needed to keep my creative muscle going. And so that's why I started writing all these parodies. Because every day I was just bombarded with information like, okay, you can do this, you can't do this. This is shut down. This is not shut down. And I think I needed to process all this information. And what better way than to put it into a song? Because I mean, I love writing all these silly songs. I love changing the lyrics to original existing songs. In fact, the irony is that I don't remember the original lyrics of the songs. I remember all the stuff that I wrote, but not the original lyrics. I'm really bad with lyrics. So and it started off with PM Lee's his speech where he was announcing the lockdown, the circuit breaker.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this is so bizarre. And so I just decided, I'm just going to lap on some powder on my hair, wear a pink shirt. Strangely, I had everything in my house, all the costumes and the props.
That's what I was saying to my brother. Like, Dwayne, I was watching Dwayne's videos. I was like, wow, that man has a lot of props. I was like, he's got a pink shirt, he's got a white wig, you've got a lot of props. But that's kind of who you are as well. But I mean, for a lot of us, a lot of our work has been stripped away, at least in the theatre. So it's so great that you've been sort of like still practicing your craft and in a weird way, kind of reaching a wider audience because you're using the internet now. So what was it like when your video, was it Sovereign Lady, that went really quite viral? Could you sing us just that first line?
Sovereign Lady. I don't remember the lyrics. Da 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 da.
You wrote the song.
Sovereign Lady. Da, 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 da. Saw this lady, 40s with long hair, Really want to spank her in the market over there. Looking shady, think this all a joke. Walking around without a mask, just waiting to provoke. Careful, wait, her funds gonna revoke. Saw this lady, got into a fight. Pushed a poor ambassador who tried to do what's right. Sovereign lady, this is what I'm called. I am not a person, the police to me is small. Don't you know I'm sovereign over all?
It comes from Les Miserables.
Lovely ladies, Les Miserables, lovely ladies.
No, 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 no. It's about a bunch of prostitutes in a whorehouse. Is that the song?
Yeah, that's right.
It's about a bunch of prostitutes in a whorehouse. That's where Sovereign
But
Lady comes from. Sovereign Lady. Da, 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 da. It was such a great. I mean, you have quite a few great videos, but of course that one somehow went viral. I mean, just the woman herself saying she's a sovereign was such a touchy thing with our local community, and you just making a parody made us all laugh. How did you come up with that?
I remember that I was watching, I was having lunch, and my sister and my dad were just talking about the article that came out, and they were showing me the videos about this I don't even know her name, so I'm just calling her the Sovereign Lady. And then in my head, suddenly I was like, I need to write something about this. And I mean, I don't want to arrow and pinpoint this particular person, so I'm not going to say, oh, remember that lady. So I just went Sovereign Lady, and I was doing a series of Les Mis parodies already. So I thought, okay, what song can I incorporate? And then Lovely Lady. So, oh my God, Sovereign Lady. So it started off with the title Sovereign Lady, and then I was reading through the articles and watching the YouTube clips that went up. And I thought, okay, let's just, because nobody knows what the heck to be sovereign means. And people were literally Googling, and ministers themselves, they were Googling and trying to figure out what does this movement mean, because we've never heard of it before. And I thought, okay, let's just put it into some sort of a parody or song. And so I just sat down after lunch, I started doing a draft, and I thought, okay, this is quite funny. And there's one line, it says, sovereign means what? I never hear before. Because so a lot of the words that go into the lyrics are actually comments on Facebook from people that I take, and sometimes I take directly. That's why you get sovereign means what? Because that was literally somebody's post there. And I'm like, I never hear before, leh. So, and I guess that's what people needed to hear. But I mean, I put it out because I thought it was funny, and I thought that, okay, there needs to be some sort of humor in the midst of a pandemic, because everybody's just down and depressed and sad. And I thought I need to just keep this going while people are locked down. And I remember an incident where I first sent out the first video. I mean, I'll come back to Sovereign Lady in a minute. So the first video went out, and I had a friend. She's in the front line. She's a nurse. She's like a chiropractor, and she was shifted to the front line as well. And she told me that she was having a horrible day after work. She was in tears. Her wedding had to be postponed because her wedding was on the 1st of May. So she couldn't get married because they canceled. I mean, they stopped the weddings and all that. So she said she was crying, but when she came home, she clicked and she watched that YouTube video, and she just burst out laughing, and she said, wow, that was what I needed. And for me, that was like, oh, it has such an impact. I didn't do it purposely to like, hey guys, this is for you. I just did it because, okay, I got nothing to do, right? And I realized that these videos have impact, and that's why I do it, because people come back, thank you so much. That was so funny. And it's not to pat myself on my back, but it's to help me realize that, oh wow, it is reaching out to people. And so when this video, Sovereign Lady, when I was creating it, I just thought, okay, it's gonna be fun to put it out. Suddenly the MPs caught it. The MPs were spreading it. One of the members of parliament found me on Facebook and sent me a private message to say, wow, thank you for that. That was really good. Did you write it yourself? Wow. And I started panicking. I got scared, and the numbers kept jumping. I didn't even dare to check my YouTube viewership. People like, oh, you have 100 people, 300, 1K. The next day, I had 100,000 followers. Not followers, 100,000 views. And I was like, what's going on? And I guess people, to them, it was the whole situation of the Sovereign Lady and all that was bizarre. And I guess putting it together, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have never heard the musical Lovely Lady. I guess putting it together and seeing it in such a funny light, and for them to be able to laugh about it and go like, oh my gosh, okay lah, it's so silly, but okay lah, I feel that to me is the effect of the video. I did have some negative comments. 80% were good. I had about 20% of people that fed back to say that, hey, how come you make fun of people with mental illness? Because that time I think she was remanded to IMH for 2
Yeah.
weeks to check. Yeah. So people were criticizing me for, even an NMP was criticizing me on Facebook. She didn't mention names, but she quoted my video. And she says that, hey, the joke was on you for insulting a mentally ill patient. But, she's not mentally ill. And the point of a parody is not to pinpoint individuals, to pinpoint a situation. And if you watch the video, I am laughing at the spectrum of people, at everybody, not just this individual that is called the sovereign lady, That bothered me a little bit at the start, but then I thought, no lah, no harm done lah,
Yeah. I know you so well. You're like answering all my questions that I'm gonna ask. Like, how did you react to it? What did the MP say? No, but no, totally. That's what I loved about Sovereign Lady. Like, you weren't attacking one person. You were laughing at a situation where Singapore was suddenly what is a sovereign? What is a sovereign? It's just like, and you weren't attacking her. So I mean, that's what I loved about it, and I'm so glad that that it went viral, because I think that capacity to make people laugh is a gift. I mean, do you think that comedy is really important for our health? Talking about mental health.
I think it's comedy is important, especially in dark times where everybody is they're looking at the bleak situation and how dark everything is. There's no hope. And they forget to laugh. And I think comedy is important because it helps people to I wouldn't say make light of the situation, but help them realize that, okay, it's not as bad as it is. We can laugh about it. We can be allowed to breathe. And I think when we're allowed to breathe, we are taken out of that depressive state, and we're able to look at it like from a different perspective, so that we're not always dwelling in that. We're able to, oh my God, it's funny, I can laugh, and realize that I don't need to be there. Yes, I do have to deal with some darkness, of course, but I don't need to be there, and I can laugh at it. And I'm not saying this from a medical point of view and saying that I'm an expert at depression, but I can say from experience that there are times where I go into that state whereby, I've lost my jobs, I lost work, theater won't start for a period of time, so I have been in dark places myself. It's just that the social media will not see the dark places that I've been. Moments where I'm crying on my pillow, when I'm running and I'm bawling my eyes out because I'm so fearful. Nobody will know that, only maybe my family or God, who hears my prayers. But so I can safely say that it's through these videos, when I do it and I watch it and I go, oh my God, it's so silly. It helps me realize that, okay, there is another place that I can hang out at. It helps me realize that life is not just darkness. And I feel that in times like this, people need that comedy. And I would say that it's been proven, because people have been messaging me privately saying that, thank you for doing all this, because I was very stressed, but when I was watching your videos, wow, that made me laugh. I had people in the front line, doctors, who will message me privately, who would tell me, thank you for that. I come back after a long day of work and I look forward to your videos. So yeah, so for me, that's why I do it, essential or not, I think it's quite essential for our actual essential workers to boost their morale, because every day they are working so hard. Who's going to, hey, you get what I mean? I think it is important in times of a pandemic or in dark places, it's important to laugh. Like I said earlier, not to make light or not to poke fun of, but to bring it to a different place so that you're not so focused on the weight of the darkness.
Knowing you personally as a friend, you always kind of bring that light, even on your social media, right? Like, you don't, like, when you are in a dark place, you don't kind of share it with your community, because you kind of always are reflecting the lightness of things. And because I know you personally, and I know about the next issue I'm going to talk about, a parallel issue that's been happening along COVID, is the Black Lives Matter hashtag Black Lives Matter. How do you feel about that? And have you ever experienced even a touch of racism in your acting career?
I think in my life, I have experienced racism. And I'll talk about a major one in a while. But it depends on what you would term racism as. If somebody comes up to me and speaks to me in Malay, for example, hey, apa khabar? I wouldn't be offended. You know what I mean? Because I do look like a Malay. I look Indian. If they talk to me in Tamil, I wouldn't go, how dare you talk to me and assume that I'm Malay or Tamil. I wouldn't do that. And this is a very familiar situation that just happened in another country. But because I really do look like, so I won't be offended. I think the offense comes when it becomes a discrimination. For example, there was a situation where I was at NTUC and I was queuing up behind a mother and son. And I was behind them, and the NTUC cashier, she told the lady, I think the kid was being a bit naughty, and I was just minding my own business, standing behind. And this was all said in Mandarin to the kid. You better not be naughty, if not the guy behind you, the Indian guy, the black one, come and catch you. In Mandarin, assuming that I wouldn't know. So that is what I feel racism is, when you are discriminating somebody. Number one, I'm fine if you speak in another language that I don't understand, but when I know you're talking about me, knowing that I don't understand you and saying something derogatory, I mean, it's people like that that says, hey, careful with the Bengali, come and catch you, wait, all these terms that were used before. So I just went up to her and I told her in Mandarin, I was like, sorry, who are you talking about? Because there's nobody behind me. And she, I never say you. And her face was priceless. I loved it because she was shocked. The kid was shocked. The mother was shocked. I was like, are you talking about me? In Mandarin, perfect Mandarin at point in time. And she's like, no, never thought. Then who else could you be talking about? I am darker than the both of you, right? So it must be me, right? You know, you really shouldn't do this because you're creating I went into this long spiel. I was amazed by my own Mandarin at that point in time, and the vocabulary that came out of my mouth. Don't know where it came from. But then I gave her a talking to because I thought that it's people like you that generate this kind of fear among a new generation, that we're trying to teach them about acceptance and all that, you see. So it's moments, a lot of these kind of things that happen along the way that I feel create a rift in this harmonious society that we live in.
Yeah, I think you put it so well, like trying to classify or distinguish actually what is racism and then what is like hurtful intent. What I really love about talking to you about this topic is that you always try and kind of put it in a light where it's accessible for people to understand. There's no kind of, I know that maybe at that moment you, of course, did you feel angry with that child?
I wasn't angry with the child. I was angry with the cashier because the cashier was using a darker skinned person to create fear, to instill fear in the kid. Because the kid is going to go home thinking that, this Malay looking or Indian looking guy who doesn't speak Chinese will be out to catch me. And so when I go to school, anybody who's the same color as the man behind me would be a potential threat. So, I mean, this is the kind of education that you're teaching a young generation, you know. I mean, our parents' generation, that's one thing. I mean, my mother's Indian. She grew up with a lot of criticism. People were calling her the black devil, and in Hokkien or Cantonese, called Keleng Kui, which is basically a black ghost. Yeah. And so she bore the brunt of things. And you would think that as time goes by and a new generation comes out, you know, we're teaching new things. But it's sad that there are still people in the world or in society that still hold on to these beliefs, or hold on to these point of views, as much as we've been trying to I wouldn't say correct it, or at least educate.
Part of our craft, especially you and I being teachers as well, is about educating our young. And we have to make a stand when it comes to these things. Just to be clear, Dwayne is half Chinese and he is half Indian. He speaks killer Mandarin. Yeah.
I try.
So, okay, just moving along, that's a very interesting story and analogy that you shared with us. What's the kind of, have you faced any other discrimination in your career as an actor or just as a person?
So recently, because of the Black Lives Matter, and also the whole discourse of racism came about even in Singapore on people's social media in terms of just regular day-to-day situations. It made me think about a situation that happened quite some time back, I think 2016. And I just went online to look at this website, and to my horror of horrors, the website still is there. And it is a website by Sammy Boy. And because in 2016, 4 years ago, somebody woke me up from my sleep. She said, Dwayne, check your Facebook now. Something very bad happened. I was thinking, what happened? So I saw a picture that this forum, they just extracted a picture from my Facebook. And it was a picture of my family I think we were in Malacca, and we were all standing underneath some lanterns. It was Chinese New Year. And so we all had we were doing our well wishes. So that was just a quote, but it was just taken out of context, put on this website, and it was free for all to attack. It was terms like, the Indian lady, the black lady is a mongrel. Mongrels should be culled. The man, she must have paid the man to F her, and that's why the children look so black. But I thought black and white is grey. I mean, when I was looking at it, I was like, are these children or who are these people that are writing all this? And it was an entire 2-page forum. And as I was reading, my blood was boiling because I was like, how am I going to tell my mother this? And I mean, people are starting to read it and all. I was like, what did I do to these people? What have we done? Why do you choose to pick? I mean, if you want to talk about Indians in general, and that's your prerogative, but why do you pick something from my page and put it there and then comment? It's like case study, I responded on my Facebook, but as angry as I was, I just chose to respond in love. I said that I'm really sorry that all of you feel this way, but it's precisely because of people like you that riots happen, racial riots happen, rifts happen. That's why people are being are angry at each other's races because of people like you. And I'm so sad that in our day and age, you exist.
Yeah.
When we are trying to teach our children about racial harmony, and we are teaching schools, civics and moral education. I have no qualms of being a family that shows nothing but love, and I'm extending love to you now. And so, this is it. And I posted up. People were angry for me. They're like, wow, how you keep so calm? But I really don't know. Maybe it was God just keeping me calm and suppressing all my emotions. But I felt that there was no point fighting fire with fire at that point in time. You just need to quench the fire. I did have friends that told me, hey, Dwayne, you need to make a police report because it is a police case, because it's stirring up racial dissent. I did go to the police, not because I'm like, I want revenge, but I felt that, this could stir up a lot more hate. Police took the case, but apparently they said they couldn't hack into the system because some IP address thing. And so about a couple of weeks later, they called me to say that, hey, we have to close the case because we can't find the hackers. So it's been 4 years since. Page is still live on the internet. I don't think people are commenting anymore. The forum is kind of closed, but it's still live. So if you go and Google it, it's still there. I'm glad that friends and family who knew my family, they wrote in to say that, how can you? So people were kind of avenging me in that sense, to put in a good word. So I was quite thankful that, my character, while you defame my family, my family is, people know my family, so they'll be able to comment. Yeah. So that was one major thing in terms of racism that happened.
It's such a major thing, and I think I remember the time. Yeah, 2016 seems like ages ago, but it did happen. You did respond in such a way that you held space for people to look at this without hate, but to consider the situation. I felt like you didn't influence people to be like, be angry for me, be sorry for me. You were like, this is the situation. I'm holding space for you to reflect on what's happening in our society and in many societies across the world. And right now, of course, America is blowing up with it. But along with America, it's kind of like domino effect. Like, the whole world is lighting up with this issue. And that's why I really wanted to talk to you about it, because I know you faced it before, and it's so important that you faced it in a gracious way, and thank you for being that person. As we're kind of wrapping up our conversation, it's just not been a tough time for all of us because of COVID-19. And even while theatre is gone for a little while, you found a new way to make all these videos that in your own Dwayne way are touching other people's lives. So can you, leave us with some advice for anybody in the arts right now that may be taking a big hit? What would your advice be to anyone to keep going?
I think number one is not to give up and delve into this is the end. It's not the end. If you have the capacity to create videos, even to put on a podcast, even to tell stories to children, to volunteer to tell stories to children, there are many programs out there that will allow you to keep that craft going. And during this season, I think it can be a time where you kind of groom yourself. But I would say upgrade yourselves, I've learned how to edit videos during this 8 weeks and 2 months. And I think when you find these kind of little victories, that helps you to keep going, and it does prepare you. So for when theaters start opening again, you appreciate it even more, and you come in with a whole new set of skills to offer. Like, hey, I've learned these kind of accents. I've learned how to do this. I can try this. I can try that, and I feel that keeps the excitement going, and so you don't hit a dead end. I think it's important that you realize that you're not hitting a dead end, but we are on some sort of a journey to something else.
No, yeah, that's fabulous advice. And it reminds me of how much love there is going around for everybody. You know, it's been really nice. So that was the amazing Dwayne Lau, who took us through some very heated topics, but of course to kind of always wrap it all with a big hug of love. If you want to find out more about Dwayne's work or the parodies that we're talking about, please go to his YouTube channel, Dwayne Lau. We're also going to leave that in our video at the end of it. And we also talked about some workshops. I might point you in the direction of some of those workshops and leave some links on the video. So if you like what you see, please hit the subscribe button, which is here, or click the notification button if you want to get notified about our videos. Till then, we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Mwah! Bye!